Well, greetings, Castle Hills School family. Michael Pinkston, your superintendent, here to bring you a very important set of announcements related to the future of the school as we continue to navigate this COVID-19 dilemma, and a little bit of the state of the school, and mostly information about where we're going from here. And so this past Friday, Governor Greg Abbott, at a press conference to the entire state, posted some really positive news and positive steps towards reopening Texas, which we are very hopeful and excited about our state leading the nation, leading the way on putting our state safely back to work. As part of that declaration, at the same time, Governor Abbott did, as I know you know by now, close Texas school campuses through May, and asked school districts and private schools like ours to continue distance learning for K-12 education. We've been privileged to do that from preschool to 12th grade education here in our school. Texas will lead the way, and this communication with you today has a lot to do with how our school intends to lead the way. Our preschool remains open to parents in essential businesses, and I would just like to add to that you either have just gotten or will be getting an expansive list. The highest percentage of our preschool parents actually work in essential businesses, and we now have another set of openings, a good number of openings, if your family needs to return. And you look at that list, I think most of you will find your type of employment listed there, and then you contact Abby Esparza in the preschool offices. That's 210-878-1074. And then preschool parents, more information about fully reopening our preschool coming soon. I'll be communicating with you directly about that. Can't wait for that day when all the little ones are running up and down the halls again. Also, I wanted to remind you that our summer camp program registration opens this summer. We are firmly confident that our summer camps for K-6, kindergarten to 6th grade, and early childhood will be open through the summer months. Registration for that will be opening up to you to reserve your spots. We always give our current families we had 375 kids in our weekly summer camp programs last year throughout the summer. 3 big sessions, largely, the first 2 are largely a month long, and the last session a little shorter, about 3 weeks. And you can sign up those by session. You can sign up by the whole summer. That summer camp program, you also have the opportunity to pick out individual weeks if you just want to come for a week that you particularly needed care for a reason. And then we also have the ability to sign up and to come on individual days. You'll get all that information in the days ahead. I would sign up while those places are still hot. Lots of people looking for summer care as Texas is getting back to work this summer. So you take advantage of that if it would help meet a need for your family. Also, I wanted to announce to you that just a few things about what's next or what's coming up. Of course, we're going to finish the year strong with our distance learning program. There are actually improvements coming every week as we're learning and growing together. That has been so successful, and a lot of input from parents to help us tweak or make things better. Your input has been invaluable. You're speaking, we're listening, and our teachers are just doing an incredible job. So thankful for the time and effort they're putting in. And then we'll be announcing this week big plans for our senior class about graduation and a host of other announcements about making this COVID 2020, class of 2020, our graduates, year closing out in a very special way. There's a lot of people who've been investing and contributing to plans. The seniors themselves have been speaking to the senior sponsors. And we're going to really see some special things coming up. And I want to say that the whole school family will be able to participate in a lot of that virtually. It's going to be an amazing time for our seniors. We were heartbroken when their senior year the carpet got pulled out from under them. But we're committed to making this as special as possible for one of the most special groups of graduates we've ever had here on our campus. Shortly, you'll be hearing about opportunities for summer academic enrichment, just helping provide things that will help every young person be fully prepared when we get back to school in the fall. I really want to challenge you to be a part of those opportunities. Also, when we open back up in August, we will be making a major announcement called the Safe Smart School Initiative. We are partnering with about 5 or 6 other large schools across the state of Texas, and we are going to engage in a process of creating the safest, the smartest, and the safest schools anywhere in the state of Texas as it relates to going back into schools before a vaccine has been identified here and distributed as it will later next year across the nation. We've begun putting together some over-the-top plans to reinvent how we do school day to day on the campus to maximize just the safety and to eliminate the transfer of any kind of germs, whether it's the common cold or anything else along the way. I just want to tell you that you'll see these 12 steps in this initiative coming up. It would be a great thing for you to communicate to other families outside of our school. I believe that Castle Hills will be the safest school in South Texas, as you've heard me say before, tongue-in-cheek, maybe the galaxy. That is our commitment, and we're going to lead the way in that regard. Now, parents, I want to thank you for your amazing input and ideas as we've been going through this whole process. It's been so good, the consistent communication that we are getting with parents as we're working back and forth together during this unusual time of doing school in an upside-down world. Last week, a parent made a statement in a conversation that they and I were having, and they prefaced it by saying that they couldn't completely put into words, but they wanted to say how Christian education here at Castle Hills has meant more to their family since we've been away and separated working together than ever before. And I began to think about that through the end of the week and over the weekend. And I just wanted to take a quick attempt to let me put that parent's sentiment into words. You know, why is Christian education for all of us right now mattering more than ever before? I think, you know, the COVID-19 crisis has been a time for us to send our kids and our students here on campus. It's like sending them to grad school on how to make it through tough times and a challenge. If you think about any part of their education that's going on right now, and the way we're approaching this together as families and a school, this is really like a Life 101 course. We're demonstrating to these kids, teaching and working through all this together through these tough times in a way that really has made us prioritize about three things. One, as a result of being in our Christian school together, you're getting your kids close to the right people. I can't think of going through a storm with a better group of school leaders and teachers investing in the lives of your kids. Second, you're trusting your kids to people with the right message. The perspective on all of this, I've heard so many comments from others, and others have shared with me how this has meant so much to them about it's not putting the right spin on things, it's delivering the right truth to our students, to your kids along the way. And then third, connecting your kids to people who model the right character. Have you just noticed the overarching stability of our school leaders, teachers, and staff as we've walked through this together? You know, Jesus said about our kids, and of course he was also speaking of the disciples, he said, and when a student is fully taught, he will be like his teachers. Of course, Jesus was referring to himself, but that truth is transferable. Our kids are becoming like the people that we've connected them to. This reminds me of our great grandparents during the Great Depression. You know, that was the generation that was characterized by having a deep, abiding wisdom and a set of values that affected a whole generation that unfolded on the other side of that Great Depression. And then our grandparents, many who served in World War II, you know, they weren't called the greatest generation for no reason. When nations go through hard times, typically strengths and values surface that seed and develop new things in the generation coming up. You know, during 9/11, just to be honest with you, it shook our nation's foundations, but the good that it accomplished, well, I think we missed an opportunity. At the Christian school at Castle Hills, we are focused during this COVID-19 crisis to make good use in your kids' lives of growth, of values, and of life character being developed. COVID-19, don't miss the value of going through a crisis together. That's quoting not Rahm Emanuel, who said that a few years ago, but he was quoting Churchill. Let me accurately quote Winston Churchill. God never wastes a hurt, a loss, or a tough time. I am looking forward with this team of principals, department leaders, and this amazing faculty to leading our young people through this crisis and getting good in their lives through it, getting good in our school family as well. In closing, I have two quick things. One, there'll be a virtual open house or two in the month of May. And when that information comes out, spread the word. Castle Hills is not only going to be the safest place to be when we return to school in the fall, it will continue to be missionally the most important place for a parent could put a young person and invest in their education. Also, I wanted to remind you about our Emergency Assistance Fund. It's still open. children, and we are working to help 48 children finish the school year. If you're interested in being a part of that, you click the link that's attached to this email with this video that you're listening to and join the effort. There's a lot of you, like my wife and I, who've been cooped up in our house and thinking, man, I'm watching all these struggles and hardships that people are going through. I wish I could do something to help. Well, that emergency assistance fund is, for Kathy and I, just a breath of fresh air. It's our way to jump in and do something positive during these times. Maybe you might want to join us. Finally, I want to announce a theme for the next school year that our leadership team and principals are adopting. Admittedly, we borrowed this theme from President George Bush. Remember that emphasis that he had called "No Child Left Behind"? Well, that has been sticking in the back of my mind over the last weeks, and I just want to share with you what that theme will mean to us, and I hope what it will mean to many of you. Simply said this, families go through hard times together. I know you've gone through hard times with your families together, and it's so meaningful when you stick together. And you and we are part of a wonderful school family. So we're making a statement to our entire school family today: no child left behind. Now, we intend to do whatever it takes to keep kids in Christian education in the 2020-2021 school year, as we are getting ourselves through this health and economic crisis together. Families do life together. Families go through valleys together, and families show up when it counts. So no one, as far as possible by me and those that serve alongside me, no one is falling through the cracks because of hard times or lost, so far as possible by us. This is already happening. We are catching people when they hit a bump in the road. There'll be more on this later, but I want you to adopt that theme with me. And if you were to know another school family that's going through a hard time, so many of us, God has blessed and helped us through these challenging times. And there's been very little disruption other than being cooped up at the house. But if you were to know of someone going through a hard time, and certainly if you were going through a hard time, I want you to email me at the school address. CH Cares stands for Castle Hills Cares. CH Cares at castlehills.school. In closing, I want to thank you for joining me today for this timely campus update. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I hope you can sense our heart for you. I know that God is at work in the lives of our students. I also know that God is working in your family and that He is there for you as we want to be there together for each other. I also want to say that as we're going on into the weeks ahead, we'll keep the lines of communication open. And I know that as a school family, our best is still yet to come. God bless you real good.